Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. So last episode we have finally learned that Fritz has two personalities. One is Fritz and the other is Varg. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. And I'm still very confused about this story because I have not gotten one freaking good deed. Does that mean I'm not gonna break my curse in this story or what? What's going on? I try to run away only to have my attempt thwarted by Varg, who stops me by reaching out to grab my arm. You cannot hurt me even if you wanted to. Fritz would never. Oh, but I'm not Fritz. Your sad little puppy knight might worship the ground you walk on. He might sit and beg for even a single scrap of your attention. But guess what? I'm not your dog. He abruptly releases me and turns swiftly on his heel before walking away, footsteps smooth. For a moment I stand there, shocked. How could he insult Fritz in such a manner if they are the same person? Defend Fritz or say nothing. Why would we say nothing? Yes, overwrite that. Defend Fritz? Fritz is not a dog. Really now? How much do you know about your precious knight? I try to say something but nothing comes out. It is true that I do not know much about him at all. You know nothing about him, so stop pretending you do. For I continue to walk forward ever so slowly, but I remain rooted in place. Eventually he whirls around and looks at me. Any day now, princess. I study his expression and body language. While his glaring might have made me nervous earlier, it does not faze me now. All this time I've been uneasy about you, even though it is your mission to keep me safe. But if that's the case, why do you seek to frighten and overpower me at every turn? I raise my eyebrow at him. Then I take a confident step forward. This time it is Varg that shirks away from me. Does having to answer to Mr. Mithras and Sir Alcaster chafe at you, Varg? If it does, perhaps you're more similar to Fritz than you think. Varg's hand clenches over his cane and as he glowers at me. You always talk about that idiot. Do you know how sick I am of hearing about him? You want to know the truth, Michiko? Sure. You're wondering how two personalities can share the same body? Well, sure, magic was the catalyst, but the other part of the magic. Well, that was all Fritz. What? You think Fritz is some great honorable knight? Well, if that was true, his intentions would need to be good to the core. And then you know what? I wouldn't exist. What is he suggesting? Can't make something from nothing. Some part of your precious Fritz became me, princess. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curses brought it to life, and now here I am. No, you're wrong. Fritz twisted and dark? I do not believe it. I think I know Fritz wrote a lot better than you do, Michiko. Don't think I act this way of my free will, at least not completely. I have these compulsions. Okay, well obviously I chose wrong. I guess I say nothing. Why does he have that opinion of Fritz? If anything, Varg is the animal. Fritz is twice the man he is. Oh. That didn't do anything. Wait, can I defend him then? That's right. I guess I have to keep talking to him. That's weird. The spark in Varg's eye is dangerous. His eyes suddenly seem out of focus as he stares at me, his gaze glassy. His expression suddenly twists, becoming something dark and anguished. He doubles over to the ground with a pained gasp. You're meant to be asleep. Whom is he talking to? Wait. Whoa! I watch in horror as Varg's body is eclipsed by a slow-moving shadow. The darkness envelops his body, and all I can do is stare in shock as his figure fades into a black silhouette. Before I can decide whether to go to his side or not, the shadows tumble like a falling cloak. Oh, it's my love Fritz. It's better now. I immediately recognize the man standing before me. Fritz! Princess, what are we doing here? You don't remember? Fritz places a hand on his head and cringes. I see him stumble slightly as he slowly rises. Not sure. I remember falling asleep, and then there was this distant pain that woke me up. And now I'm settling here. With you. Did Varg's emotion somehow trigger Fritz into waking? I'm sorry, princess. My mind is a little foggy. I don't understand what's going on right now. Fritz shakes his head before turning to look at me with a tired, faint smile. Perhaps I'll feel better once I get some rest. You're right. Let's go back. I feel the tenseness come back into my body as I remember all the things that transpired at the march-in. The building is dim at night and looks more like a place of shadows than anything else. I clench my hands into fists and try not to shake. They intended to hurt me. They wanted me to suffer. My heart hardens into something cold and sharp as ice. Their kindness was a lie. Mother taught me people were like this. I should have listened to her. I finally turn away from the merchant with conviction. I am not meant to stay there. I must go back to where I belong. Bro, what was right? I don't understand. Say nothing, I guess. As suspected does, I know that Fritz sometimes struggle with their commands as well. Unlike you, however, okay, Fritz does not take his frustrations out on other people. He does not lash out at others by scaring them, and he certainly does not protect people by stalking them from the shadows. Alright, there we go. Oh, it's our father this time. A memory with our father. And Chico, are you alright? Why wouldn't I be? Your personal maid left last night. Yes? Is it true that you caught her stealing one of your dolls? Why would I lie about that? I'm sorry. Why? Because she betrayed your trust. Impossible. I did not trust her in the first place. But wasn't she with you for years? Yes. And you're not at all saddened by her change of heart? She saw the opening to take something from me and took it. I am not surprised nor sad. It was to be expected. All people use others to take things that they want. Damn. Dude. Princess, why are we here? He really doesn't remember anything about last night. I guess his memories must truly be separated from Varg's. I've been trying to remember, but my memories feel like they're slipping through my fingers. Why won't you talk to me, Princess? If I said or did something wrong yesterday, I'm sorry. I didn't do anything wrong, Fritz. He was the one at fault, not you. He? When I open my mouth to tell him about Varg, I find that the words are stuck in my throat. I turn away after a few moments, the gloom settling back on my shoulders. But after hearing what Varg said, I do not have the courage to tell him. Not yet. I think Fritz is some great honorable knight. Well, if that was true, his intentions would need to be good to the core. And then, you know what? I wouldn't exist. Can't make something from nothing. Some part of your precious Fritz became me, Princess. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curse just brought it to life. And now here I am. Why won't you look at me? Or why won't you look at me? Have I been a fool to so blindly trust Fritz all this time too? Princess. Princess, you're here. Sir Mithras, the preparations are complete. You are now free to enter your old home. Sir Mithras pushes open the gates and walks through. I take a deep breath and then follow after him. I have so many emotions inside of me right now that I cannot even begin to parse through them. Before I take more than a few steps forward, Fritz's fingers curl around my wrist. Princess, what is happening? I feel bad because he doesn't know what's going on. The look in his eyes is familiar. He wears the same concern and worry for me the way that he always does. He seems every bit himself, but he is no longer the same person to me. Going home, Fritz. I pull my arm away from his grasp and follow Sir Mithras into the palace without looking back. Chapter 6. Where are you in Chapter 6? Resurrection. What is going on? Tell me the story again. Do you ever tire of that story, love? Please? Well, since you asked so nicely. Once upon a time, there was a queen who had a daughter. She loved very much. But the kingdom the queen ruled was a cruel and mean place. The people were liars and thieves, and it was terribly dangerous. The queen knew that the kingdom would never be safe for her beloved daughter. She didn't work to change it. The queen worked day and night. With magic. Hush, dear. So the queen worked day and night and used her magic to take the bad people's energy from them so they couldn't cheat and steal and lie. And then the queen made sure that the energy would stay with her and her beloved daughter, so nothing could harm them ever again. And the queen and her daughter lived happily ever after. Not in this life. There are 2 days remaining until my 18th birthday. Holy cow! I have been living in the palace for the last few months, and while it is not what I expected, it is still not so dissimilar that I am uncomfortable. I get to stay in my own room and am served the same food as the occupants of the palace, only now I am not expected to share my meals with the king and his family. It was strange that nobody even asked who I am, not even the king. That did not matter. What is important is that I am back in the palace. Only a witch like Sir Mithras could have orchestrated all of this. Magic was all I needed to bring you back here. Convenient, isn't it? Who exactly are you, Sir Mithras? What is a witch like you doing here in the palace? I am your mother's faithful servant, Your Highness. But I do not recall ever seeing you here until after Mother passed away. I did not work within the palace at the time, but once your mother passed, I took a job here to fulfill her wishes to protect you. I was consumed with worry when you disappeared all these months ago. I suspected immediately that you were cursed and that the Luce's barrier had acted to keep you concealed from me. If only you could understand the relief I felt when I learned that Fritz had found you. How will you prove that you're not like the people at the Merchant, that you will not lie to me or betray me? Sir Mithras kneels in front of me and places a hand over his heart. I made a promise to my queen that I would give you my undying loyalty, princess. I will protect you with my life. That's a huge role. Honestly, his whole role in life is just to protect little me. And saying that does little to convince me that I can trust him. Everything I am doing is in service to my queen and my princess. So what is it that mother requires me to do? Patience. I wouldn't want to ruin the surprise. How am I here? I don't understand. They just let me in the palace just like that? What magic did he do? Oh, it is like little Mickey Mouse. I finally see the ears this time. So cute. Sir Mithras claims he is mother's faithful servant. That should be enough reason for me to trust him. But I am still on edge. What is the surprise he has in store for me? My thoughts drift back to the occupants of the Merchant. They kept saying that they cared about me, yet I have not heard from them at all. Even Rod, who lives here, I barely even see him. Oh, please don't bring up Rod. I'm not ready for that. And Fritz. Since I returned to the palace, I have been seeing less and less of Fritz and more of Varg. In the beginning, I continually asked Fritz about his memories of specific days or the times when he was Varg. Fritz never seemed to recall anything. He smiled at me sheepishly and told me that his age was probably making his memory worse. Fritz isn't even that old. Since then, things have changed. I no longer bother asking Fritz about things he surely does not remember. Fritz does not remember anything related to Varg. Yet, Varg retains all of his memories as Fritz. I know I should tell Fritz about Varg, but it is the fear that he would not believe me. But also something much worse. I am worried that whatever it is inside of Fritz that will only lash out at me, the part of him that Varg came from. If I were Fritz, I would not be able to believe it either. I look toward my shelf of dolls, unable to shake my feelings of disquiet. The dolls are the same as always. Their plastic gazes focus on nothing and everything. It looks so empty without... No, I do not miss her. I do not miss anyone. Right? Wrong. The sound of footsteps pulls me out of my thoughts. Who else is wandering the halls at this time of night? I am unable to restrain my curiosity, and emotion soon drives me from my room and out into the hallway. I gingerly follow the faded footsteps down the hallway, and there, I see two familiar people, Sir Mithras and Sir Alcaster. I grow impatient. 2 days is an insignificant amount of time when you've already waited so long. I have been waiting for years. The princess is safe and will continue to be safe, just as we have required. Our agreement was clear, Sir Alcaster. I will not help you until after the princess turns 18. I will remember the sort of aid you have requested of me. What prevents us from killing Gennaro now? A small gas comes from my mouth and I am unable to muffle it in time, despite the fact that I hold my hands up to my lips to keep myself from shouting. Stop breathing even as my mind whirls. Kill a king? Why would Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithras want to do that? That sound. Do not try and distract me. What do we lose by acting now? We could lose everything if we act too hastily. I think it would be good to learn some patience from your son. I think you would do, sorry. Varg, Sir Alcaster. Varg, what a pleasant surprise. Mithras smirks at Varg, moves to stand just off to the side of the two men, his expression solemn. I trust that you have tamed Fritz. What are you talking about? You have not noticed, even when your own son is being overwhelmed, Varg is gaining control, slowly but surely. He no longer has to wait for Fritz's consciousness to descend into sleep. In a few weeks, perhaps even days, Varg may be able to help us during the day. That is why I have only seen Varg at night. If he can act during the day as well, what will happen to Fritz? Fritz is gone. He's gone. I hope you're not trying to avoid your mission and staying here. How curious. Perhaps Fritz is stronger than you think. That weakling? Don't make me laugh. I just find this extremely boring. Varg shrugs before walking away. How interesting. I do not approve of his methods. Well, what would you have me do to improve him? He completes every task you give him. He has softened. Well, let us see if he completes this task. Then we will know for certain where his loyalty lies. How did he soften up? He hasn't met us in a long time, right? As Sir Mithras and Sir Alcaster begin to walk away, I exhale. I feel a slight shudder when Sir Mithras stops and gazes behind him, his eyes wandering to my hiding place at the end of the hall. My heart thumps loudly in my ears as I wait to hear him leave. The wind has a bitter chill to it tonight, like ice. Mithras turns on his heel with a slight twitch of his lips before he disappears. I thought he was talking to us. I was gonna be scared. I make my way back to my room in a daze. My whole body feels weak, and when I eventually get to my bed, I crash down on it feeling numb. They mean to kill the king, but why? Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithras are two of his most trusted advisors. What could the king have done to make them desire his death? And why does Sir Mithras want to wait until I am 18? What happens then? Does this have anything to do with that gift he was talking about? Does Sir Mithras plan on using me for something? I clench my hands into fists and inhale sharply. I think of the other things that came up in the conversation. He said that Varg might be able to help. Be able to act during the day soon. Does this mean Fritz will disappear? A breath catches in my throat at the thought. Princess, there's no need to look at me like that. It's my job to know you, Princess. And right now I know something's not right. It is your job to protect me. Knowing me is a very different thing. Princess, please, perhaps you should worry more about yourself. My job as a knight is to protect my charge, to put their life before mine. If I can't protect you, how can I call myself a knight? Fritz reaches out as if to touch me, but I shrink away. Do not touch me. Sorry, Princess, just please know I'm always here if you need to talk. If Fritz disappears, what will happen? I almost jump when I hear someone shouting just outside my door. Quickly, Emmy! Rod? I quickly stand up and move toward my door, pulling it open to catch a glimpse of the outside. I end up opening the door into Rod's face. He comes to an abrupt stop and glares at the door that blocks his straight path. His hand is outstretched as if he meant to reach for my door. Rod? Emmy? It's so late, what are they doing out of their rooms? Rod's fingers tighten over Emmy's hand. They both look exhausted, and Emmy is on the verge of tears. What is happening? Rod seems to consider something before he finally comes to a silent conclusion. His eyes glare right into mine. Get out of the way! Rod's voice is colder than usual, even for him. Emmy's eyes widen as she stares at him in shock. Rod, but I thought... This isn't the time. Ah, so here's where the rabbits escaped. Varg? Varg is slowly making his way over to us, his posture relaxed, expression indifferent. He does not even look winded. Well, this is a complication. Help them? Help them? Is this the mission Sir Alcaster was referring to? Rod tugs at Emmy's wrist to prop her into motion, but the two of them are too slow. In one swift movement, Varg has circled them and tripped Emmy, toppling her to the floor. Varg moves forward to grab her, but before he can so much as touch her, I jump into action, pushing Varg from the side. I move to stand between Emmy and Varg. I can hear Rod helping his sister up. My eyes are trained on Varg. What are you going to do to them? Why do you care? Why do I care? Because I know this is something Fritz would do. Varg hesitates, giving Rod time to act. Rod throws a vial that breaks upon impact with the floor. It releases a cloud of smoke that envelops everything around it. I feel someone's fingers at my wrist, and then I am being dragged away. My vision clears. I see Emmy standing before me, holding my wrist tightly. Come on! What was that? It is something Lady Parfait made for our escape. Our escape? Do they remember who I am? Did you really think the Marchand gave up on you? We must move. Well, I know Rod remembers me, but how does Emmy know me? I run toward the palace tunnels, a place I have not visited in many years. I thought they barricaded this. Not quite. You think we've lost him? No, not yet. Emi turns to me, her eyebrows drawn over her eyes in a look of sympathy. I'm so sorry you got caught up in this. I know that we were all meant to escape together according to Rod, but we were not expecting it to be like this. It was difficult to get a hold of you with Varg hanging around. Oh! I chose right. I didn't realize I didn't get the shadow earlier. Thank you for what you did back there. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't helped us. I'm suddenly uncomfortable speaking to her, so I turn to face Rod instead. What does Varg want with you? My best guess is he wants us dead. That can't be. How else would you explain the way he came after us, Em? But why would he want you dead? Rod's bright eyes seem fiercer in the darkness of the tunnel. I think it must be what his master wants. After all, dogs only respond to orders. I'm offended, Prince. Oh, we shouldn't have kept talking. We should have ran. You! I whirl around, dread rising in my chest as I turn to look at Varg, who's slowly catching up to us. This was meant to be quick. Varg looks at me, his eyes glittering with amusement. But as always, you complicate things, Princess. I cannot hide how much I am trembling, but I still hold out my arms to protect these siblings. Go! Not without you. Go now! Come on, Emi, go! Come on. I can hold off Varg. Because I need a good deed. This is giving me a good deed. I believe so. I turn back to Varg as the two flee. My body tenses as I wait for Varg to move. I will stop him, or at least buy them some more time. Varg remains still as a statue. He remains rooted to his spot. I have no idea how long we stand there, frozen in place. You never cease to amaze me. So what's going to happen now? Are you going to kill them? He's not answering. Does that mean I am right? Is that what Sir Outcaster ordered you to do? Why else would I be here if not for an order? Why would he want you to kill Rod and Emi? And why does he want to kill the king? You overheard quite a bit, huh? Probably a little more than you should have. The tension in the air becomes palpable and it becomes harder to breathe. Varg's fingers tighten on his cane. He wouldn't hurt me, would he? Varg moves in. For a few moments I am frozen with terror. And a word I had forgotten long ago suddenly comes to my lips, unbidden. A word that Fritz once told me before. How do you pronounce that? Adwiva? Otova? How do you pronounce that word? Holy crap. Is that French or something? Wait, can I YouTube that? Hold on. Otova? Is it Adwiva? Is that Spanish? Adwiva. Pronounce. I don't even think that's a word. Pronounce. Can I even spell pronounce? Having a brain fart. Yo, is that a word? I'm gonna say Adwiva, okay? Oh, it's like I'm calling for him. It's like Seduce Me 2 or in Seduce Me where I call their actual name. This time it is Varg that freezes. He raises his cane but it never comes down. His eyes are wild even though he hasn't moved. Suddenly he looks as if he is restraining himself. I can see the struggle on his contorted expression and then I realize that he is fighting to stay in control. It worked? I remain still for another moment, my mind racing. Varg drops to his knees and I see shadows forming beneath him. Tendrils of darkness snake their way up his body, beginning to engulf him. This is what happened last time when he changed back into Fritz. There is still awareness in Varg's eyes, however. His gaze is cold and accusatory. Accusatory? It remains that way even as the shadow creep their way up to his face. I found my feet again and rushed past Varg into the depths of the palace. I run, too frightened of what I might find if I look back. What? Are you alright? If you are truly worried for my safety, then you should have told the king how unsafe it is for me to leave the palace. Isn't that a knight's job, Sir Fritz? You have so little faith in me. What? Don't you trust me to keep you safe, Princess? 3 years ago, when I swore that I would give my life for yours, I meant it, I still do. I would never let anything harm you. Ever. Oh, that's really sweet. Perhaps I need to make another promise to you, Princess, so that I may ease your worries. Remember this carefully, okay? I really do not know how to pronounce that. Is it a doiva? Sounds correct, right? What does that mean? It's from an old language that no one speaks anymore. It's what people used to say when they were calling for help. Something to call when I need help? If for any reason I'm not there and you need me, just say that word. Scream at the top of your lungs if you need to. I promise I'll come running. Oh, you're so sweet! A knight would never break a promise to his lady. Trust in me. I have to go. Oh, I always let down Fritz. It's sad. I've been awake for hours, unable to sleep. I stand at my window waiting for anything to happen, but all is still beyond the glass window pane. I have no idea what I ought to do. What is going to happen now? Should I tell someone? I return to the palace because my room still feels like the safest place. But why? Am I here because I feel I need to tell the king what happened? Because I hope that Fritz will return? I do not even know if the king is still here. I haven't seen him at all. My hand instinctively reaches out for my necklace and I realize that there is an additional piece. Oh, finally! Sheesh. I look down and a small gasp escapes my lips when I notice a new piece of the glass slipper. A new piece of the slipper? But how? What was my good deed? I remember the night I helped Rod and Emmy escape from Varg. That was a good deed? Of course it was! You saved their life! They could have died. Princess? Fritz? I've been looking for Prince Rod and Princess Emmy. Have you seen them? My eyes are beginning to sting. I'm startled when I realize that there are tears burning my eyes. What's wrong? Varg is gaining control, slowly but surely. He no longer has to wait for Fritz's consciousness to descend into sleep. In a few weeks, perhaps even days, Varg may be able to help us during the day. Can I even trust Fritz now? But this Fritz doesn't know anything. You can trust this one. You can't trust the other guy. Fritz looks at me with worry on his clear on his face. He draws closer to me, his hand reaching out for me. Hello? What happened? Why is it him now? I pull back immediately, my breath caught in my throat. Princess. For a moment I just saw Varg. What's going on? Will you believe me if I'm straightforward? Something's been wrong ever since we returned to the palace. Princess, please, Fritz clenches his hand into fists, his face twisted with obvious pain. Please let me help you. Please, let him help us. Let him. Fritz, I do not know how to explain. This might be wrong, but it's okay. I can, rewind. He slowly moves towards me again. Start from the beginning. Fritz carefully slides his hand over mine. I can trust him, right? Fritz, you're cursed. Princess, you've been worrying about me? There's no reason for you to be concerned about me. Neither of us have actually seen this curse in action. You're cursed with a separate, cruel personality. It's one that has been scaring me and last night you, were going to kill Rod and Emmy. His gaze is a confused muddle of worry and doubt. You don't believe me. I do not doubt you, Princess. I'm just confused. What could I know about the existence of an alternate personality, or about a curse inflicted on me? I pull my hand away from him, across to the other side of my room, so that my bed acts as a barrier between us. But Varg knows you. How is it possible that Varg is so aware of you when you do not even exist? You do not even know he exists. I begin to pace, my emotions whirling. And how am I to trust you when you won't even trust me? You were supposed to believe me. How could you not? Why do you think I would lie about this? Last night I thought Varg was going to kill me, and I used that word he taught me because I felt I was in danger. What? I said it and he stopped, and I thought that maybe it was you who heard me say that word. The words became tar in my throat, choking me. I trusted you. Fritz's eyes are dark as he drops his gaze to look solemnly at the floor. And now? Now I do not know if I am meant to. Silence descends upon my room. When I finally look at Fritz again, the man I see is a stranger. Gone is the Fritz that I once knew, and standing in his place is nothing but a shadow. I thought he'd be different. He showed me so much kindness and pretended to care, and yet, Mother was right. Mother was always right. I feel a dull ache in my chest, and as I turn on my heel to look away from Fritz. This is what happens when you trust in someone. This is what happens when you begin to believe in others. Oh! Hello? I gasp when I feel strong arms wrap around me from behind. I can feel Fritz's warm breath against the back of my neck. It sends shivers tumbling down my spine. Let me go, Fritz. No. I order you to let me go. Fritz only he's finally not listening to orders. But Fritz only tightens his grip. While the warm embrace is suffocating, it is also oddly comforting. Sorry, Princess, I cannot be ordered when to leave you like that. I swore an oath to you and made a promise to myself that I would always stand by your side. No matter how much you push me away, I will always be here for you. On the day I was assigned to you, I saw how much you suffered. That's why I will protect you with everything that I am. I bit my lip as I struggled to keep myself from crying. How can I trust Fritz's words when Varg has done nothing but cause suffering to everyone around me? But it seems I have also been the one to cause you so much pain. He loosens his arm until I am no longer within his embrace. I suddenly feel cold and empty, but I do not move toward Fritz again. This is where we're gonna stop though, because I have no idea if that was the right choice. So next episode, we're gonna go choose the other option and see where that lands us. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.